Hey guys, these four income producing properties hit the market today, Sunday. The program is late, guys. I'm here a little bit late in the day, but they don't want to pass a day without reviewing properties. Again, four of them came out. We're about to review them. I know it's really late at night, but let's get right into it. 6.3% interest rates. That's where the Federal Reserve said that the average was for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage this last week. So that's what we use on our numbers. And just so you could see really quick, the Miami market, the way that it's looking, same thing. Nothing's really changed. For every single house that's hitting the market, you're having another house having a price decrease. So the chances of you seeing a house today and being able to negotiate a lower price, the market speaks that the probability of that's really damn high, right? And as a matter of fact, I would use all this data and the higher interest rates to leverage yourself the best deal possible. Now, with that being said, guys, let's take a look at the actual deals that hit the market today. Like I said, there are four. I don't think that there's a whole lot of potential, maybe except for the last one, or maybe sometimes there's an error in the listing, and that's where you could get really lucky, actually. So that said, let's sort by price per square foot here. Whoops, cancel here. We're going to sort by price per square foot. Starting with the most expensive one, it's a 1.85. Let's put that up on the calculator. $1.85 million, okay? Duplex in Miami Dade. They're currently paying, they say, $20,602 a year in taxes. That's a lot of money. All right. Square feet, 2,943 square feet. All right. And they say that they're only collecting $1,800 a month in rent, which is kind of crazy. So let's put $1,800 here. Obviously, that would be a terrible freaking deal if you ever bought this. It might be the worst deal I've seen all year. But let's take a quick look at the property and then see if we can figure something else out. There's only one picture, guys. All right. It's a corner lot. Typical Miami looking house, like you would probably see like on what do you call it? Grand Theft Auto, probably in the upcoming game. But let's see. Prime used, right, in Little Miami, Little River Corridor, 2-unit property, okay. Offers excellent visibility along high commercial. So I'm a little confused, right, because the guy says that it's a duplex, but down here he puts that there are actually 3 2-1s and 1 1-1. So let's take a quick look at the actual records that the county has for this property and see if we can figure some more information out. Okay, so it is zoned multifamily. Okay, all right, good thing we looked into this because this guy hasn't paid taxes since 2025, right? He owes $14,000 in taxes. So that's an issue, of course. And let's see here, guys. So it's 2 units. Okay, it's 2 units for a total of 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. All right, so it's crazy that the taxes are just so damn high. So they must have purchased this not that long ago, and that's where taxes went from $9,000 a month to $20,000 a month, which is just wild. All right, but with that being said, let's take a look at this deal, see if we can make some sense out of it. It's 1.85 mil. It's in Miami Dade. Oh, sorry, it's a duplex in Miami Dade. All right, and he says that he kind of like converted this. So mixed use. All right, so let's say you actually went into this and it's actually functionally working as a fourplex. All right, what is the rents that you could expect? Well, the 2-1 rents for $1,800. Okay, the other 2-1 you could expect, and that's the funny thing. He actually put that the vacant 2-1 could rent for $1,800, but he doesn't tell us how much the ones that are actually rented for could go for. But let's just assume that you get the same amount of money. $1,800 for that one, $1,800 for this one, and that 1-1, guys. Let's do a quick rent check, right? He says that it's in Miami Dade, a 2-1, and he's only getting $1,800 for this, right? So right off the bat, this could be a terrible freaking deal, okay? Because he's only getting $1,800. But if he really does, and then that 1-1, he says that he doesn't tell us what he's getting, but I mean, the median should be $1,600. Maybe the property looks terrible on the inside, but guys, look at these windows. They look like new windows. The doors look like new doors. They actually look like really expensive kind of doors. So this might be a sleeper, all right? But let's say that 1-1 could get you $1,100. Maybe this property is just massively under rented, all right? If that's the case, then this property might be bringing in $6,500 at best, making the returns here quite terrible, 4.2%. And of course, this is nowhere near the 1% rule. It's probably close to 0.3. Yeah, 0.3% of the 1% rule. All right. So with that being said, what if this property is actually rented out incorrectly, and this guy could get median rents for a nice property, and if there are 2-1s, you could actually get $2,300, which is the median, right? And then that 1-1, let's say, get you $1,600. right? Then that property could all of a sudden make $8,500 a month. It makes the deal a whole lot better, but not anywhere near close, not nowhere near where we need to be for the price that they're asking for. At this, the best point here is 5.4% returns, which is just about 1% better than what we were getting, before we had these like big price rent increases, right? Because we were going from 6,500 probably to 8,500. Okay. Now he is in distress, so it is possible to probably negotiate this guy and give him an offer now and have him walk away from this property. But I mean, this is gonna have to. I mean, let's see what he actually bought this for. All right. He bought it for $1.1 million. Okay. And that is unfortunate because even if you gave him 1.1 million, okay, this property would barely make sense. Okay, the return on investment here would still be below 10%, which would be an F in my book. Now, the chances of this guy actually, decreasing his price by $750,000, I think is slim to none. So I think that this guy, I mean, I just don't see him actually doing that, right? I don't see him doing that, but he might have to do it. He might have to do it because he's so far back in taxes. So you might want to reach out and see if you could strike a deal with this guy, but I don't think it's realistic that he's gonna, drop 750,000. But again, guys, even if he does, you're gonna need to collect more rents than what this even shows to be able to make this property work. So for that reason, guys, I think that at the best case scenario, let's say you drop this guy down to like what do you call it? The 1.1 million, meaning you drop 750K. Even if you did that, this property would only make 9.5% return on investment, which is still below the S&P. And for that, it's a big fail for us. So we're going to go ahead and discard this property too. All right. All right. Next up, guys. Next up. Okay. It's a $1.5 million fourplex in Broward County. Okay. It's currently paying $18,999 a year in taxes. Square feet wise is 3,154 square feet. All right. The rents, what are the rents? Well, we don't know right now. Let's take a look at the pictures. Okay. The property is really pretty. Yeah, it's gorgeous looking little property. All right. Right off the intercoastal. So you're going to get a lot of like beach play. You could turn this into an Airbnb, like it would work well, I think, right? There's like really nice condos here. Yeah. And the inside is like right on point, right? This is beautiful. Turnkey, super turnkey. I mean, who wouldn't live here, right? This is really pretty. And it's a fourplex. I'm excited for this property. But you see the difference? Like the other guy wants 1.85 million, and you can see like we didn't even have pictures. Let's see what this guy tells us about the property because they don't tell us anything about the rents here. All right. Luxurious living in Deerfield Beach, discover life and sophistication, yada, yada, yada. All right. So it's a 1-1, a 2-2, a 2-2, and then a studio. He says that the 1-1 is renting for $2,300. Okay. He says that the 2-2 is renting for $2,900. He says that the other 2-2 is rented for $2,700. And that the studio is apparently rented for $2,200. All right, guys. Well, if that's the case, guys, this property is, these rents would just barely pay off your mortgage, okay? But still, they're pretty shy of where you need to be for a bank to even lend you money on this. Banks would want to see that you're at least at 110%, that the rents pay 110% of the mortgage. And right now, at best, the rents are paying 109% of the mortgage. And I think that these prices are actually quite high. Even though the property is beautiful, you would need to double check and make sure that you're going to be able to not only that he has tenants there with long-term leases, but that the tenants are also verified, and also that the market is going to be able to get you new tenants once those tenants move out, right? Because if there's all of a sudden new properties, new opportunities for those tenants to go somewhere nicer or with more amenities, right? and a cheaper rate, they're going to move out if they could save themselves a couple $1,000s over the year. Either that or you're going to have to give them that price decrease and all of a sudden your rental income drops. So for that reason, guys, like I double check those rents, but even if you double check those rents and these are the rents, this property still doesn't make sense, guys. Right now, this property at best is giving you a return of 8.8%. All right, let's write that down, 8.8% for this property with collecting $10,100 a month. It's in Broward. It's a fourplex and they want 1.5 for it. All right, so I think that this is as high as the rents as you could actually collect, okay? I don't see this guy being in some sort of distress, but let's check that out. No, there's no back taxes out here. There's a levy there for stormwater, but you know, if he sells this, then that would just get paid off at closing. So let's see what else. 1.5. Now, what's a realistic price that I think that this guy could drop it to? I think you could probably convince this guy to drop it to like 135. Okay. That levy is not like a huge thing, but like he's probably like, man, like more expenses, right? So if you're able to drop it to 135, all of a sudden this property starts making a little bit more sense, okay? And the returns actually go up if you drop 150K. They go up to 10.5, which isn't terrible, okay? But it's not the best. It's not the best. So with that being said, guys, and obviously your taxes are going to go up once you make that purchase at $1.35 million. So keep that in mind, guys. This is not the best property. I would give this a D, right? It just barely beats the S&P, if that. And there's still, you still got to consider that you got to check those rents out, those leases. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna discard this property for now, and down to our last two properties. Okay, this one is a $995,000 duplex in Broward County. Right now, they're collecting $12,177 a year in taxes. The county is, right. Square foot wise, 2,392 square feet. All right. Rents, they're not telling us what rents they're collecting right now, so we're going to put zeros there. Let's look at the quality of the apartment. It's really nice quality. This is really nice. Well, I'm not a fan of that where that TV is, but apart from that, it's not bad. Yeah, so you can see they grabbed this wall and then they did this built-in thing. But for me, it's kind of like they took away like wall space, right? So you put this TV here with this like little thing here, and like you make this out of it. But by doing that, you make everything feel smaller. I would just rather have a TV there, right, and mount it as flush as you can against that wall, than build that out and kind of like take away space from that. But anyway, that's just me. The rest of the apartment looks really pretty. I mean, yeah, it's completely done. Gorgeous. Yeah, beautiful. Jacuzzi in the back, nice. Okay, let's look at the guts of this deal, see what we can figure out. Rare opportunity to own an updated turnkey duplex in Pontiac Heights. This high-performance asset features 2 spacious 3-bedroom, 2 baths with a new roof. All right, cool. So, let's see. Successful short-term rent. The front unit generates $3,000 to $5,000 a month as a successful short-term rent, while the back recently commanded $3,900 a month and includes separate private office, right? But this is short-term rent, guys. Again, short-term rents, you could get more money, but there's a lot more expenses that come with that. So with that being said, guys, it's 232s, right? And we are in Fort Lauderdale, in a good area. So let's look at Broward County. The median rents in Broward County for a 3-2 are $2,700. But I think that we could probably get more than that, being that it's in Fort Lauderdale and the quality is so nice. So probably for this 3-2, you're probably somewhere between like $3,400 to $3,500. So just give them the benefit of the doubt at $3,500 for both of them. And if that's the case, guys, then you're getting about $7,000 a month here, right, for this $995,000 duplex in Broward. That's probably where you're getting on long-term rents. And at that point, guys, it just pays the mortgage and could give you returns as good as 9.6 over the life of the property. Now, with that being said, where do you think that you can negotiate this price? You could probably negotiate it down probably down to 900,000. I think that, if you give this guy an offer for 900K, right? All of a sudden this deal could make a lot more sense. And you could go up to 11.4%. I don't think, you might have to work him over a while. But I think that these are the max rents. And if he tells you, no, like you get this, yeah, be like, yeah, but like there's more expenses with Airbnb. All of a sudden Spirit closed, right? Like use everything that you can to your advantage. Hey, Spirit closed. It was providing all this employment in Dania Beach and, just south of Fort Lauderdale. All that employment is gone, meaning that a lot of people are going to maybe move out of that area of Dana. And all of a sudden there's going to be a lot of this vacancy. And so like, I'm going to have to people are going to move there. Like I'm going to have to decrease prices too. So like, it's just not working out, right? The economy's tough. People are not coming down here to vacation as much. So use everything you can to your advantage. Try to negotiate that down. If you could negotiate it down about basically 100K, that $95,000 actually, 95K, then the returns that the property could give you are as good as 11.4%. And if that's the case, then the property looks a little bit better. I think that it's almost good enough for a C. Yeah, he doesn't. But see, like he's got these levies too, man. Like these crazy levies. So anyway, it's crazy. They tax you, and then they run out of money because they didn't budget correctly. And now they assess levies on top. It's wild. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's discard this property. And down to our last property, guys. Last property of the day. It's a fourplex in Miami Dade. Okay. It's $1.25 million. Whoops. Here we go. 1.25 mils. Okay. And they're currently paying in taxes $11,122 a year in taxes. All right. Square feet. It's a big one. 3,185 square feet. All right. Now, what's really going to be really interested is the quality of the property and the rents that they get. So box ACs, you could tell right off the bat, right? There's space here to put central AC, right? But they decided not to. The yard looks nice. I mean, I don't know if there's a septic tank here, but there's enough space here that you do something nice, put up a nice fence. So there's definitely some value add opportunity here. Same thing for the back, same thing for the windows. There's like value add opportunity. But this is all we get. We don't know what the inside looks like, and that's really going to hurt how we underwrite this right off the bat. Let's take a look at the property itself. Okay. They don't really give us any information. Let's take a look at the county records, see if they could give us a little bit more insight onto this property. Okay, so it's 4 units, and it's there's 4 units, there's 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms, and there's 4 units. So that tells me that all the units are 1-1s, okay? And we're in North Miami Beach, okay? So that's the information that we have, 4 1-1s. And now what is the median rent price in Miami-Dade for a 1-1? Well, it's $1,600, right? And if you put $1,600 here across the board, and that's saying that it's median, like on the inside, the conditions of the property are, average. If they're less than average, then the returns are going to be much less. I'm just going to go ahead and give them the average, give them the box ACs, unfortunately, and the way that the yard looks. I'm going to just say that that's probably the way that the inside of the house looks. And if they want $1.25 million and they're only collecting at best $6,400 a month, right, for this fourplex in Miami-Dade, 1.25, then that means the returns on this property are going to be pretty crappy. And we can tell that just by the 1% rule. It's half of the 1% rule. We could tell this by the DSCR gauge right here, telling us that it's not even going to pay for 100% of the mortgage. At best, it'll pay 86% of the mortgage, okay? The return on investment here, again, because we don't have any information from the realtor, what rents they're getting, or even the condition on the inside, we have to guess. And if we're guessing $6,400 a month in rent, the best returns here are going to be 6%, which, I mean, please just invest in the S&P. So what do I think that you could actually negotiate this guy down to? Well, definitely, I think that having a conversation with this guy and having him come down to like 1.1 is going to be, I think, reasonable. Maybe after that, he just decides to keep the property. But if he decides to decrease it by 150 grand, okay, then you're talking that you have the opportunity to come up with an investment that still doesn't match the 1% rule anywhere near close to it. It's about half still. It still doesn't pay for itself, even if you put down 25%. And the best return over the life of this property is going to be a 6.8, just 0.8% better than if you didn't drop the price. And I don't think that this guy's in any sort of distress. Let's double check. Let's look at the limited county records that we have here. No, he doesn't know back taxes or anything like that. So with that being said, guys, this is another property that failed. I think the best property that we saw, potentially the best property that we saw, is the one that the duplex in Broward. But we would need to get that guy to really drop his price by about $95,000, okay, by $95K. So with that being said, guys, there's way better deals that we've analyzed, and I think at the beginning of this week, but we're heading into a new week, so there's going to be new opportunities. All right. With that being said, see you guys tomorrow, and have a great